Hey guys, Freaky Finance here. I'm gonna make up for last week by doing 2 videos this week. One's just gonna be a recap on something crazy, and the other one's gonna be a normal video. I'm gonna do Pinterest. So this is the crazy one. I want to say not too long ago I did a video on Children's Place, and so this video is gonna be on that. There's been a recent string of events with this company. It's been a total roller coaster. So I'm gonna call this one "Welcome to the Jungle" because it's I've been doing this for a while. I don't think I've seen quite to this degree how quickly the story evolved. At least when I had a decent size position going around. Anyway, when I did the video, it was going into the third quarter. This is the second quarter presentation, and they were talking about how they're going to do about $5 in the back half of the year for 2023. Now they ended up missing Q3, and then guiding to a profitable Q4 at the time. And then I want to say at the end of last week, so around February 9th, they said that they're also going to miss Q4. And Q4 is not even going to be profitable. Whereas this guide implies that Q4 would have at least been $1.40 in earnings power. And both reasons, they basically flag that they have orders online that are fragmented and they can't seem to be able to cover the cost for whatever reason. Or worded another way, the revenue is still coming in. In my mind, they're still promoting a lot to move it. And they were also, in my mind, not charging shipping fees adequately to cover a lower ticket basket on average. At least that's how I would break it down. Anyway, so the news hit February 8th that Children's Place hired a company to help bolster its cash position. And so I went through it that night. This is Thursday night, and I was like, okay, where did I screw up? And then Friday morning, they basically say, yeah, we're looking to raise capital, or if we have some like liquidity crunch. But the thing is, the announcement was very strange because they also said that their inventory is down 100 million, which means they should actually have 100 million more or less on the revolver than they had at the end of Q3. And so it was very mixed messaging. Well, it was bad messaging from my point of view, and the stock started tanking because of it. So here's their release on that day, that morning, Friday morning, basically saying, oh, now Q4 is going to be a loss as well. So this shows a very inability to guide by the management team twice in a row. And then at the end of the announcement, they basically say, oh yeah, we're looking to improve our liquidity position, which is interesting because in the context, they just said that their liquidity improved slightly because they decreased total indebtedness by 100 million versus the third quarter. So all of a sudden, why is liquidity an issue when you literally just converted 100 million of your inventory into cash, right? So that morning I was like, ah, shit. And I look at it and I was like, okay, I'm probably going to sell it at a loss. My average was 20 going in. Here, I'll show here you can see on my beginning of the year video, you can see I had 9,000 in at 20. 20.4. And anyway, I kind of tell myself I'm gonna sell it when it opens. Let's say if it opens at 12 or 13, I'm just gonna get out because I've been burned twice now, basically in a row, being lied to by management. They obviously don't know how to guide their business. It doesn't mean it's necessarily bad business. It just means that I just can't trust them. So I was like, okay, I can't really underwrite owning this. So at the very least, I was gonna sell some. Anyway, instead of opening that, it was indicated around 12 or 13. I was like, fine, that's a fair price to get out at, whatever. I'll take my 40% loss and move. But then it opened at 8. And so I made a snap decision to buy at 8. Right at the morning, 7:32 my time. So bell ringed at 9:30 Toronto time or New York time. But anyway, I punched it in early, get it at 8:83. And anyway, it just starts going up after that morning. I was back around 12, so I was like, okay, I'm finally at the price I thought I'd get out. At any rate, that whole night before I buy, right, all you hear is how bad it is at Children's Place. The people that were promoting it, Children's Place may not file, but whatever the solution is probably permanently impairs the equity upside, right? So I'm like, oh shit, even the people, and we knew there's a lot of retail people in this stock. And so even the people that were telling people to go into it, or at least saying that it was a good idea are basically getting out. And here's some more headlines. This Children's Place scrambling to shore up liquidity, right? And this is a company that just guided that they're going to do $5 earnings power in the back half of 2023. There you go, Children's Place right on BNN. Children's Place brink of bankruptcy, and I went through this company probably twice before, and so I was like, I don't know how. Anyway, so I ended up buying more on the panic, only because it was, in my mind, it was over panicked. Because if it would have opened at 12 or 13, I would have just punched out. So anyway, we didn't know this till the end of the day, but someone else was buying it. And when we go into the insider transactions, you can see this Mythac Capital. And you can see they're pretty much buying that whole day from 9 up to where it closed. And then the next day, you can see they're buying from the 12 up till the 17, basically buying call options too. And it turns out that they bought 52% of the company. And you can see here with the capital, Saudi Arabia Kingdom. Here you can see that who these people are. I guess it's a rich family. It's the second biggest company besides Aramco in Saudi Arabia. So this family. So I thought that was interesting, basically getting saved by somebody, not the investment thesis. So it squeezes even more on the news. And then, anyway, long story short, I was able to get out at 31.35. So I just thought that was worth sharing. This is more for me because I'm going to go back. I know 10 years from now, I'm going to go back and be like, where's my head at back then when I was younger? And it just getting burned, right? And then all of a sudden, I mean, luckily I did the right thing. I just like, that's too cheap. But ultimately, I mean, you're getting saved by somebody you have no control over, but at the same time you're getting screwed by a company that you didn't really know was lying to you. So it's a welcome to the jungle. It's a lesson here is you never really know what's going to happen. You have to be prepared for it. And I just thought this was a lesson that I'm probably going to learn a few more times, but it's it was not a dull day today and this last week for Children's Place. And yeah, you never really know what's going to happen. Here's just the last one that they put out today, that they own about 54% of the company now. Their intent is to nominate 11 of their directors, which I agree with. Anyway, it's good when you're in charge because you can take advantage. Oh, you need liquidity because you can't plan right? Okay, we're just going to buy you out and we'll make sure you plan right. Because the business is technically, like, it was actually starting to do that turnaround in e-commerce pretty good. It's definitely anyway, it's never dull. I'm rambling a bit, and now I'm gonna go shoot the Pinterest video, but I thought this was worth sharing, and I know I'm gonna go back to this video over the years and be like, man, remember that time some 2 random events happened in a week of each other and you didn't even know either of them were gonna happen on a position that you had decent size in and thought you understood. Anyway, have a great rest of your weekend.